2 years ago last March, I watched my mother get loaded into the back of an ambulance on a Sunday morning. She was still wearing her bathrobe. Her coffee was still sitting on the kitchen counter, untouched, getting cold. I'm a cardiologist. I've been practicing for 22 years. I've diagnosed conditions that other doctors missed entirely. I've held patients' hands while explaining that the next 48 hours would determine whether they lived or died. What nobody knew at the time was that the most dangerous patient I ever failed to protect was sleeping in the bedroom down the hall from where I grew up. This story doesn't start with a diagnosis or a hospital room. It starts with a morning routine, my mother's morning routine. The same collection of small, ordinary, seemingly harmless habits she repeated every single day for years. And one of those habits, one that she believed was actually keeping her healthy, nearly stopped her heart. After my mother's emergency, I became obsessed with understanding exactly what went wrong. I reviewed over 200 case files of patients admitted for morning cardiac events. I consulted with colleagues in chronobiology and circadian medicine at 3 different university hospitals. I studied the research on cardiovascular timing that barely gets mentioned in medical school, let alone in the average doctor's office. And I found a pattern that terrified me. 5 specific morning behaviors that millions of people repeat every single day without understanding that they're stacking risks on top of a cardiovascular system that's already running at its absolute limit. Before I walk through all 5, I want you to think honestly about your own morning. From the moment your eyes open to the first hour of your day, what exactly do you do? Write it down in the comments. Not the version you'd tell your doctor, the real version. Because awareness is the only thing standing between you and a preventable emergency. Let me explain what's happening inside your body every single morning, because this context changes everything that follows. Your cardiovascular system doesn't ease into the day like a car warming up in a driveway. It launches. Within 15 minutes of waking, your adrenal glands dump cortisol into your bloodstream at concentrations 50 to 60% higher than your daytime average. Your sympathetic nervous system fires up like a switchboard, flooding your veins with adrenaline and norepinephrine. Your blood pressure climbs by 10, 15, sometimes 20 points before your feet even touch the floor. Your resting heart rate accelerates rapidly as your body shifts from parasympathetic calm into full sympathetic activation. And after 7 or 8 hours without a single sip of water, your blood has thickened. Red blood cells are more concentrated. Platelets are stickier. Your blood has the viscosity of motor oil trying to squeeze through narrowing pipes. For a young person with flexible arteries and healthy endothelium, this morning storm is manageable. The system has reserves. The pipes can stretch. But for anyone over 60, anyone with years of plaque buildup, stiffening arteries, or undiagnosed coronary disease, this morning window is the single most dangerous period of the entire day. Heart attacks occur 40% more frequently between 6 in the morning and noon than at any other time. Strokes spike by nearly 50% in the same window. This isn't coincidence. It's biology. And the 5 mistakes I'm about to share turn this already dangerous window into something far worse. The first mistake is one that millions of people on daily medications make without a second thought. Taking blood pressure pills, heart medications, or blood thinners first thing in the morning on a completely empty and dehydrated stomach. I understand the logic. Your doctor told you to take your medications in the morning. So your alarm goes off, you reach for the pill organizer on your nightstand, you pop your lisinopril or your metoprolol or your amlodipine with a tiny sip of water, and you go about your day feeling responsible and disciplined. But your body is already in crisis mode. Your blood pressure is naturally surging from the cortisol and adrenaline response. Your blood volume is low from overnight dehydration, and now you've just introduced a drug specifically designed to lower blood pressure into a system that's already struggling to maintain adequate circulation. When you take blood pressure medication on an empty, dehydrated stomach, absorption accelerates dramatically. There's no food to buffer the process, no liquid volume to dilute the concentration. The drug hits your bloodstream faster and harder than your prescribing physician intended. Your blood pressure, which was already on a physiological roller coaster, can drop suddenly and severely. This triggers orthostatic hypotension, the same dangerous blood pressure crash that happens when you stand up too quickly. Your brain doesn't get enough blood. You feel lightheaded. Your vision tunnels. And if the drop is severe enough, you faint. In a bathroom with hard tile floors and sharp countertop edges, that fall alone can be fatal. Skull fractures, subdural hematomas, broken hips in older adults. These injuries kill thousands of people every year. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Drink a full glass of room temperature water and eat something small, even just a few crackers or a banana, before you take your morning medications. This gives your body fluid volume to work with and slows the drug absorption to the rate your doctor actually intended. If you're on morning medications right now, talk to your doctor about whether adjusting the timing by 30 minutes could make a critical difference. The second mistake is something your body forces you to do, and the way you handle it in the morning hours can be genuinely dangerous. Straining during early morning bathroom use. This sounds absurd. Nobody thinks of going to the bathroom as a cardiovascular risk. But when you strain, when you bear down against a closed airway and push with your abdominal muscles, you're performing something cardiologists call the Valsalva maneuver. And in the morning danger window, it can trigger a cascade that stops your heart. When you bear down hard, pressure inside your chest cavity spikes dramatically. This compresses the major veins that return blood to your heart. For a few seconds, blood flow to the heart drops significantly. Your heart has less to pump. Your blood pressure dips. Then, the moment you release that strain and exhale, all that backed up blood rushes back into the heart simultaneously. Your cardiovascular system overcorrects violently. Blood pressure can spike by 30 to 50 points in a matter of seconds. Heart rate swings wildly. For an aging heart that's already dealing with the morning cortisol storm, with thick dehydrated blood, with stiff arteries that can't absorb sudden pressure changes, this rapid swing between low pressure and extreme high pressure can destabilize the heart's electrical system. Dangerous arrhythmias develop. Atrial fibrillation, ventricular tachycardia. In the worst cases, the plaque lining a coronary artery ruptures from the sudden pressure change. A blood clot forms on the spot, and the artery closes completely. That's a heart attack triggered by going to the bathroom. Emergency rooms across the country see this pattern regularly. Patients found unconscious in bathrooms. Patients who had cardiac events during morning straining. The medical literature documents this link clearly, but almost nobody talks about it outside of cardiology departments. The solution is hydration and timing. Drink water before you go. The increased fluid volume softens stool and reduces the need to strain. Never hold your breath and push. Breathe slowly and steadily through the process. If chronic constipation is forcing you to strain every morning, talk to your doctor. A simple stool softener could be protecting your heart more than you realize. Pay attention to this next detail, because it explains why the third mistake is so devastating. The third mistake is flooding your nervous system with emotional stress during the first 60 minutes after waking. Your phone buzzes on the nightstand. Your eyes aren't even fully focused yet, but your thumb is already scrolling. A news headline about something terrible. An email from your boss with the subject line, "We need to talk." A text message that delivers bad news. A social media comment that makes your blood boil. Or maybe it's not digital at all. Maybe it's a morning argument with your spouse about finances. Or a phone call from a family member with a problem that instantly puts knots in your stomach. Every single one of these triggers releases additional cortisol and adrenaline into your bloodstream. But remember what I told you earlier. Your cortisol is already at its peak morning concentration. Your adrenaline is already flooding your system from the natural wake-up process. Your blood pressure is already elevated. Adding emotional stress on top of this baseline is like pouring fuel on a fire that's already burning at maximum temperature. Research from cardiology departments at major university hospitals has documented that acute emotional stress can raise blood pressure by 20 to 40 points and increase heart rate by 15 to 30 beats per minute within seconds. Combined with the morning hormonal surge, combined with dehydrated thick blood, combined with stiff aging arteries, this creates conditions where a coronary event becomes terrifyingly possible. There's a reason cardiologists have documented spikes in heart attack admissions on Monday mornings after emotionally charged sports events and during periods of national crisis. Emotional stress is not abstract. It produces measurable physical cardiovascular strain. And that strain is most dangerous when your body is already maxed out, which is exactly what happens every morning between waking up and roughly 10 o'clock. The solution requires discipline, but it's straightforward. Keep your phone in another room until you've completed your morning routine. Do not check email, news, or social media for the first 60 minutes after waking. If you know a difficult conversation needs to happen, delay it until mid-morning when your cardiovascular system has stabilized. Give your heart a fighting chance to get through the danger window before you add emotional weight to the pile. If you found value in what I've shared so far, subscribe to this channel right now. Not for my benefit, for the person in your life who is making these exact mistakes every single morning and has no idea how close they might be to a preventable emergency. Your subscription is how this information reaches the people who need it most, because the algorithm only shows content to audiences whose communities engage with it. Subscribe now, and I'll keep sharing what I've learned from 22 years of watching preventable tragedies unfold in emergency rooms. So we've covered medications, bathroom straining, and emotional stress. But I haven't told you about the one that surprised me the most. The fourth mistake feels like self-care. It feels like comfort. It feels like exactly the right thing to do on a cold morning when your body is stiff and your muscles ache. Taking a hot shower immediately after getting out of bed. You stand under that steaming water and your muscles relax, your shoulders drop, and you feel human again. But inside your cardiovascular system, something dangerous is happening. Extreme heat causes rapid vasodilation, meaning thousands of blood vessels in your skin suddenly expand wide open. Blood rushes to your skin surface to dissipate the heat. This is the opposite mechanism from cold exposure, but the result is equally dangerous. When your blood vessels dilate suddenly, your blood pressure drops fast. All that blood that should be flowing to your brain and vital organs is now pooled in the dilated vessels near your skin. Your heart, which was already working hard against thick morning blood and elevated resistance, suddenly loses the pressure it needs to push blood upward to your brain. You feel dizzy. The shower tiles seem to tilt. Your vision goes gray at the edges. And if the pressure drop is severe enough, you lose consciousness. In a wet, slippery shower enclosure, surrounded by hard surfaces, glass doors, and metal fixtures, losing consciousness is catastrophic. But the danger doesn't stop at the fall. Your body detects the pressure drop and panics. The sympathetic nervous system fires an emergency adrenaline surge to compensate. Blood pressure rockets back up. Heart rate spikes violently. This whiplash between low pressure and sudden extreme high pressure, this back and forth that cardiologists call hemodynamic instability, can trigger the exact same dangerous arrhythmias that kill people during morning cardiac events. Ventricular fibrillation, sudden cardiac arrest, dead on the shower floor before anyone even realizes something is wrong. The solution is temperature moderation and timing. If you shower in the morning, use warm water, never hot. Start with lukewarm and adjust gradually. Keep showers short in the first hour after waking. And critically, hydrate before you step into the shower. That glass of water gives your cardiovascular system the fluid volume it needs to handle the vasodilation without crashing. The clock was already ticking for my mother. She just couldn't hear it yet. The fifth mistake is the one that put my mother in the back of that ambulance. And it's the one that haunts me the most because I should have caught it. I'm trained to catch exactly this. But I missed it completely because I wasn't looking at my mother as a patient. I was looking at her as my mom. For months before her collapse, my mother had been experiencing what she called morning fuzziness, a strange tightness across her chest when she first woke up, tingling in her left arm that she blamed on sleeping in an awkward position, brief moments of breathlessness that passed after a few minutes, occasional heart fluttering that she described as her coffee kicking in, even though it happened before she'd had any coffee at all. She mentioned these symptoms to me casually during Sunday dinners. Offhand comments between passing the bread and talking about the grandchildren, and every single time I nodded and told her it was probably nothing, probably just age, probably just deconditioning, probably just anxiety, probably. That word almost killed her. What my mother was experiencing were textbook warning signs of unstable angina, a condition where the blood supply to the heart muscle is intermittently compromised. The chest tightness was her heart crying out for oxygen during the morning surge when demand exceeded supply. The arm tingling was referred pain from cardiac ischemia. The breathlessness was her heart failing to pump efficiently under stress. The palpitations were early arrhythmias from a heart muscle that wasn't getting enough blood. Every single symptom was a warning siren, and she silenced each one with the same phrase that kills thousands of people every year. It'll pass. On the Sunday morning, she collapsed. Her unstable plaque finally ruptured. A blood clot formed in her left anterior descending artery, the vessel cardiologists call the widowmaker, because blockages there are so frequently fatal. Her heart went into ventricular fibrillation. She dropped on the kitchen floor 3 feet from the stove where she was heating water for tea. My father called 911. Paramedics arrived in 7 minutes. They shocked her heart 3 times before they restored a rhythm. 3 times they had to send electricity through her chest and hope her heart would restart in a pattern that could sustain life. She survived. She recovered. But she lives with the knowledge that her heart stopped, that she was clinically dead on her own kitchen floor, while her husband watched helplessly and waited for strangers to arrive and bring her back. And the worst part is this. I had months of warning signs, delivered to me directly by my own mother, over dinner, in plain language, and I dismissed every single one because I fell into the same trap that kills patients every day. The assumption that morning discomfort is normal. That stiffness and tightness and tingling are just what happens when you get older. That symptoms which come and go aren't serious because serious symptoms are supposed to be constant and dramatic. They're not. The most dangerous cardiac symptoms are often subtle, intermittent, and easy to explain away, and they are most likely to appear during the morning danger window when your cardiovascular system is under maximum natural stress. If you or someone you love is experiencing any recurring morning symptom, chest tightness, arm discomfort, unexplained breathlessness, palpitations, dizziness, or unusual fatigue, do not wait. Do not dismiss it. Do not tell yourself it'll pass. See a cardiologist. Get a stress test. Get your coronary arteries evaluated. The test takes less than an hour. The alternative takes everything. Now let me share the morning protection protocol that my mother follows religiously. The routine that has kept her safe for 2 years since the worst morning of our family's life. Minute 1. The breathing minute. When you wake up, stay in bed. Do not sit up. Do not reach for your phone. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts. Hold gently for 4 counts. Exhale through your mouth for 6 counts, making the exhale longer than the inhale. Repeat this 5 times. This pattern activates your parasympathetic nervous system and counteracts the cortisol and adrenaline surge. You're telling your cardiovascular system there is no emergency, no threat, no reason to redline. Minute 2, the hydration minute. Before you went to sleep, you placed a full glass of room temperature water on your nightstand, at least 300 milliliters. Now sit up slowly on the edge of the bed, feet flat on the floor. Do not stand. Drink the entire glass, every drop. Within minutes, this water begins thinning your blood, reducing viscosity, easing the workload on your heart, and preparing your system for the transitions ahead. Minute 3, the circulation minute. Stay seated on the edge of the bed. Rotate your ankles in slow circles, 10 in each direction. Pump your feet up and down like you're pressing a gas pedal. These movements activate the calf muscle pumps that push pooled blood back up toward your heart and brain, preventing the blood pressure crashes that cause falls and fainting. Minute 4. The gentle movement minute. Still sitting, slowly turn your head side to side, roll your shoulders forward and back, reach your arms overhead and stretch gently, lean slowly to each side. These movements send oxygenated blood to muscles that have been dormant for 8 hours. You're preparing your entire body for the transition from rest to activity in a way that respects your cardiovascular system's need for gradual change. Minute 5. The transition minute. Now, and only now, stand up. Do it slowly. Pause while standing. Check for dizziness, lightheadedness, or visual disturbances. If anything feels off, sit back down and wait another 60 seconds. When you're stable, walk slowly toward the bathroom or kitchen. No rushing, no phone. Full attention on this transition. You've now given your body 5 minutes to shift from sleep to wakefulness without shocking a cardiovascular system that needs gentle handling. 5 minutes. 300 seconds. That's what stands between a safe morning and a medical emergency. My mother does this every single day now. She says those 5 minutes are the most important part of her entire day. I agree with her. I want you to write in the comments right now which of these 5 mistakes you've been making. Just a number, 1 through 5. Be honest, because I guarantee that almost everyone watching this is making at least 2 of them, without understanding the cumulative danger they're creating every single morning. If someone you love is over 60, if someone you care about has high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, or any history of heart problems, share this video with them today, not tomorrow. Today. Because tomorrow morning they're going to wake up and repeat the same habits that put my mother on that kitchen floor, and they might not have someone standing 3 feet away to call for help. My mother's coffee sat on that counter getting cold for 6 hours while she was in the emergency room fighting for her life. A full mug of tea she never got to drink. I think about that mug every single morning when I do my own 5-minute protocol. It reminds me how fast everything can change, how a regular Sunday morning can become the worst day of your life, and how 5 simple minutes of patience can be the difference between drinking that cup of coffee and never waking up to make it. Take care of your heart. It's been working for you without a single day off since before you were born. The least you can do is give it 5 minutes every morning to prepare for another day.